And there are men in the box, and it comes for Pablo Hernandez, and Pablo Hernandez scores a goal for Leeds United! Oh! Goal, a goal, a goal! Yeboah. On he goes! Oh! Even by his standards. Breathtakingly brilliant.
Hang on a minute, here's Howson, can he win it? Yes he can! Leeds United are on their way to Wembley! Johnny Howson again!
And the ball's over Brown, and this is Beckford, he just ran away from him, but he'll still get a strike in and goal! And score at the Stretford end for Leeds United! And it doesn't get any better than that for a Leeds centre-forward.
Good ball, Becchio well placed! Leeds United draw level on aggregate!
Well, the roof has just been lifted off Elland Road. What an incredible noise we are witnessing here.
Well, hello everybody, you're very welcome back to Leeds Bros. Hope we're all keeping and doing well. You're very welcome along to Wednesday night broadcast. Myself, Darren, the brother Dylan, and we're joined by our guest, Stephen, to break down what is going on at Leeds United lately. It's all a bit mad and something just feels a little bit amiss at the minute, lads, doesn't it? So we're going to break it all down, and we want to hear your comments as well, guys, in the comment section below, and we'll keep the whole show on the road. But we'll go around the room, we'll check in on the boys. We'll come across to Stephen first. Stephen, how are you? Fresh off your trip over to Elland Road on Sunday. Are you over to defeat you?
No, I wouldn't say I'm even fresh. I swear to God, I'm getting too old. It's still lagging after the 2 early mornings and a few beers and a defeat. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make it any better. But no, listen, they came out of Elland Road obviously disappointed, but I thought the first half you battled well, and you know you have a limitations, but the second half is just the same old. I'm not going to say it, but BS. But you know, yeah, it's that early goal knocked us back, and then Farke doing his usual 70 minutes. Substitutions are not reacting, but you know it's hard to take. Like, you know, still rather be in the Premiership and getting defeated by Aston Villa than, you know, being in the Championship and beating the likes of Luton and stuff. So it's a hard thing, like, you know.
This is where we wanted to be, though, Stephen, isn't it? Though, like last year, we went through a lot of heartbreak, and look, we knew it was going to be a bumpy road for Leeds United. And as the title of the video says, I can't believe this is happening again, and I can't, because I'm going to be honest, guys, I probably came up a little bit naive thinking that, you know, with the 49ers back in, with, you know, the stadium development, everything was all laid and it looked like Leeds United were Premier League ready. And I probably had a little bit of naivety about me that we might just do what we done in our first season under Marcelo Bielsa. And I had the Leeds blinkers on. But it's proven to be very tough, and there's a lot of similarities that I want to go through this evening and get your guys' thoughts and you guys in the chat as well. To that season under Jesse Marsch, when you go back to the 22-23 season, then we know the season before that Jesse Marsch saved us on the last day. But I want to go through particularly the first 12 games because it's a good metric of where we're at now and where Jesse Marsch was at after 12 games to him. And there's a lot of similarities there, and the same stuff that we're giving out about now, lads, about the recruitment side of things, about the manager not being flexible enough, about the players not having enough quality to stay in division. All the excuses and, you know, everything that Leeds United fans are giving out about now is very similar to what we were giving out about back in the 22-23 season. And it's just giving me them vibes again. And I'm hoping that this time we have good owners in place in the 49ers to make the right decision this time, that we don't go down the route of another Javi Gracia, another Sam Allardyce, and we also don't leave it too late if things are going to push on and are inevitably going to get worse, in my opinion. But Dylan, I want to come across to you. I don't want to dampen down the mood too much, but like, what are you feeling in the season like so far? Because it's obviously it's a very bumpy road for Leeds United. It's really tough at the minute with our toughest run of fixtures coming up. It's one of them strap-in moments, isn't it?
I'm terrific. I'm just thinking I'm ecstatic at what's going on at Leeds. Yeah, look, it's ups and downs, lads. Ups and downs. You know, in the back of my mind, I always knew this day was going to come, and it still has to come. Yeah, you know, hopefully we might hear it tonight, tomorrow. But obviously, I did see on Twitter. I don't know if it is true. Like, I just seen someone took a screenshot of Perrin Cross saying that there will be a press conference tomorrow. So he's obviously still in a job. Going into it, I'm just deflated. As I said before, but I'm trying to be upbeat. like we have to kind of, what would you say, not laugh at it, but see some sort of sense of humour in it, because what did we expect? Let's be honest. And as Darren said there, with the blinkers on, and how well we performed last season, and the stadium development, as you said there, just there was a lot of hype, there was a lot of noise, there was a lot of new fans, everyone seemed to be coming together, and it seemed like Daniel Farke was the man to do it, and he did. But now we're in a bigger league, bigger boys, and we're not competing, and he's not doing the job what we thought that, well, what we wanted him to do. And it just comes a time now where you kind of have to bring yourself back down to earth and realise that he's not God. He's not Bielsa.
Fucking hell, Dylan. You're the president of life out here, man.
But
But
other than that, you know what? I wouldn't be
I was
surprised.
about to
if we
just
win.
go, fucking lads, throw it all out the window.
But do you know what I will say? We probably win against City now.
That's like, I thought, why does that happen, lads? Why, like, after Villa, I was like, right, we've City next. It's gonna be horrendous, right? It's gonna be one of them whoppings away at the Etihad. We've seen what City have done to some newly promoted sides at the Etihad over the years. So it was like, yeah, right, we're just gonna have to take this on the chin. And the closer now it's getting to Saturday, the more I'm saying to myself, could we do it? Could something happen? Would the footballing gods be looking down on us? And it's always like that, isn't it? That's what football is, lads. Isn't it? We're fickle. We're absolutely fickle.
Brendan Aronson and Jack Harrison to score.
And it's the hope and the faith that killed you as well. But yeah, absolutely right, lads. Look, it's a rough period coming up for Leeds United, but we have to enjoy it, lads. We have to enjoy it.
Any other way.
Absolutely, Dylan, you're right. But we're going to run through a couple of bits here of the similarities that I think personally that is very similar to that 22-23 season under Jesse Marsch. We're giving it about the same things. We're going to look at Jesse Marsch's, particularly the 12 games that he started under the 22-23 seasons. As you can see there, 12 games played, 13 points. So we're 2 better off than what we are at this stage. We're 12th in the division as well. But as you can see there, a lot of them teams around us there have a lot of points on the board, lads. It doesn't look like that this season compared to now. Obviously in the bottom 3, only 11 points picked up, but you can see the difference in the table, lads, isn't it? Stephen, when you look at that, it doesn't make for good reading, does it?
It doesn't. And you know what? These 3 games as well, I'm a realist and I'm a hopeful fan as well. And as you said, Jesus, we all prayed that we could beat the likes of City and stuff like that. But like in reality, I don't think we will, but hopefully we do. But the table doesn't lie, and it's, this 1 point per game thing that they keep going on about. Yeah, 1 point per game, and we're in the bottom 3, so it's just not good enough. It's hard to look at,
Do you know what I think it is though as well? Just thinking of that, just seeing all the teams there, Darren. I think it looks bad on us and Burnley in particular because Sunderland are doing so well at the minute. And I'm not saying that they're gonna stay up or they're gonna get relegated. Like they just had a strong start to the season with the players, the investment. They went all out, and at the time, let's be honest with you, we were all kind of like, oh, they shouldn't have done what they done. They shouldn't have spent as much as they spent, and now they're laughing at us. So in a way, it's simply down to the board as well. They just didn't back. But when you go back to what you said there about Jesse Marsch, you're actually annoying me that you brought this up, man. Because
it's just how I'm feeling at the minute, lads. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, and we spoke to you, Stephen, earlier on. We were voice noting each other, and we obviously we talk and think about Leeds United 24 hours a day. To me, Leeds United is never on my mind and never far from my mind. And you obviously just have to say and speak about what you feel. And at the moment, what's going on at Leeds United, it is really bringing me back to that 22-23 season, how it all was. Not real much love for the manager fighting against the fans, not literally, but trying to prove a point that he was good enough for Leeds United. And it all feels very similar. And this is why I'm hoping that this time that the 49ers have learned from the mistakes of what we've done the last time. They didn't in the summer. They didn't in the recruitment side of things, because we got things very wrong in the summer, in my opinion. When you look at it now, we didn't do enough in the summer, and Dylan alluded to it there a little bit, Stevens. But it's imperative now, whatever happens in these next couple of weeks is massive for Leeds United, and I think personally defines Leeds United season. Whether they're going to stick with Daniel Farke, who knows, tough run of fixtures coming up, or whether they do change the manager. And if they do change the manager, they have to get it right, Stephen, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is as well, like, it's not too late. That's the thing. Like we're not dead and buried. This, we're We're in the bottom 3 with 11 points. If we won a game, we'd be 13 or 14. Do you know what I mean? So they have time to turn this around, and this is it now. They have to earn that money. The same way I said when Farke got promoted to the Premiership, he needs to earn his money. Unfortunately, he's not. He just like it kills me to say it because I do like him. I do like him as a person, and I do appreciate what he's done over the last 2 seasons. But he's not earning his money now. So now it's the 49ers' time. They need to earn that money. We're not dead and buried. We're not gone. We're not relegated. We're far from it. We've had some amazing performances. Let's be honest, and some really unlucky performances, but it's just not good enough. We can't keep saying, we should have beat, but we should have got points against Bournemouth. We should have got a point against Spurs. We should have got a point against Newcastle. All these shoulds aren't going to keep us up. We need to get these points, and they need to make some serious decisions. With Farke, whether he stays or not, I don't think he will. And then what happens in January, because we need reinforcements in January. And if you don't reinforce in January, the simple thing is we will go down. And that's the simple fact.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the quality. We're not scoring goals and we're conceding goals. So when you're doing them, both of them things in the Premiership, that's a recipe for disaster.
Steve, it seems like, as you said there, we are playing well and we can't keep making them excuses. We should have done this and we should have done that. And I 100% agree with you. To me, it feels like false hope, false narratives. We don't have a game changer to come on. You look at the bench and you don't have that kind of star quality player that has that kind of ability, to, grab the game by the neck and go, we're not out of this just yet. Now, as you said, you go to Gabby Goodmunson's panic, a major error, fair enough, Fulham, and, I said it as well. Well, Darren alluded to it, Newcastle was probably our standout performance. Fulham, I thought we were brilliant as well, and it just seemed to be a decline, of the performances from then to now. But yet again, there's no, as I said, get real game changers. I'm not going to say this in a way because I'm piping them up, but, we've talked about Calvert-Lewin, for example, starting in that top spot. And no offence to him, he hasn't really kind of done anything. He's been in the right areas, I get that. But Metchicum plays 2 games and he scores 2 goals.
Yeah,
so what I'm trying to say is,
it's
like that he doesn't want to utilise every individual, and that includes Pirro, Dan James, Nanto, and I know they're coming back from injury, but maybe that's what he's waiting for, fitness levels or injuries to but the likes of Pirro and Meche, they should be a bit more involved.
Yeah, but I was there on Sunday, and the fans are screaming for substitutions on 60 minutes, and you're sitting there and you're going, Emre reacted, he brought on at half time, and then 2 subs come on for Villa and they didn't change the game. And we're still sitting there idle. I don't care what anyone says. Dan James came on and he changed the momentum of that game back in Leeds' favour. But it was all too late then. Yeah. You know what I mean? How many balls he put in the box, how direct he was, there was balls being played down. It was directly in line of all them crosses. They all didn't pay off. And there was one cross that was horrendous, but at least he's putting them balls into the box. So when we keep saying we don't have any game changers, we actually do. He's just not using them. And he's not using them to their strengths, and he's not using the formation that he should be using them to. We're playing 3 defensive midfielders and a big man up top, and no one's playing any balls. So what's he supposed to do? He can't do anything. He's isolated. He's on his own. Brendan Aronson, for all his fucking flaws, and it's what he has. How does he really feel? No, he's just not. For what he does defensively, fair enough. But he's just not good enough in this system.
Stephen, isn't it that? Obviously, Dylan mentioned it there a little bit, that we've obviously had the injuries on the wing, and we know that in Nanto and James, so we haven't had them available, but they have been coming back, particularly Dan James over the last couple of weeks. He's only been kind of getting charity minutes there. And Brendan Aronson did a job out there while them 2 boys were injured, and that was fine. But it's that persistent with him when you have the likes of Dan James, Willie Nanto all sitting on the bench. These people that have that little bit of quality and that little bit of stardust that could possibly change the game for you, or even changing your formation. Because at one stage, a lot of Leeds fans were saying as well, let's move away from this 4-3-3 because it's definitely not working to our strengths, particularly away from home. So maybe go with the 5-3-2, get someone up closer to Calvert-Lewin, use our fullbacks as our width then as well. So you're still structurally solid as well, and you've got a little bit of width then from Jayden Bogle. We've seen how much he can get forward last season. We've seen glimpses from Gabby as well, how much he can get forward. So it's all that as well, lads. It's personnel, and it's also tactics and formations as well. That's probably what annoys me with Farke as well, is that he's very rigid in all aspects of his game, that he sticks to personnel, he sticks to formations, and he sticks to his 70-minute substitutions. There's no flexibility in there.
No.
And in football, lads, you have to be flexible because you just don't know what's going to happen in any given game, who's on it, who's off it. You have to be able to be flexible and change to the opposition. And mentioned it in myself and Dylan's match reaction after the Villa game, that opposition managers must be absolutely rubbing their hands when they're coming up against Leeds United, because they know they have that period from after half time to probably the 65th, 70th minute to make the substitutions to change the game, and they know that Daniel Farke isn't going to do anything till after that 70 minutes. So you have to be rubbing your hands there. And I've seen a stat there that a lot of the goals that Leeds United have conceded this season, or their equalisers, or for them to go 1-0 up, have all been around that 60, 70 minute mark before Daniel Farke has made that substitutions. And countless times, Dylan, we've been doing the watch along. We've said it needs to change here. It needs to make a substitutions. We need to change personnel. It's not working here. And then he decides to do it when it's too late as well. And I think for me, that's my most frustrating thing about Daniel Farke. But Stephen, it's obviously it's a debate that's probably going to rumble on until the 49ers come out and say we're backing up for the season, or do you come out and do what we all think is going to be inevitable and sack the manager. I think it's going to ebb and flow for, you know, the next couple of weeks, or however long it takes them to do it. But I've seen this earlier on social media, lads, and I just had to pull it up and I had to share it because I ain't going to lie, lads, this made my jaw drop. So worst Premier League win rates by managers with 50 plus games. Daniel Farke is the lowest. 60 games, 61 games in the Premier League, only 9 wins, 10 draws, 41 losses, a win percentage of only 14%. Less than Ian Dowie, Stephen. Like, that's like, when you see it like that, when you actually see the statistics, you look back now in hindsight, maybe the 49ers probably should have done it in the summer and got a manager in. We know they could have done it in the Premier League.
Yeah, but listen, I think we all, I don't know, not us all, because that some of the fan base did want him gone. But for me personally, I think he did deserve a chance, and I did say give him 10 games and let's see, because, you know, we all know the squads he had at Norwich and we all know the limitations they had. But
yeah,
you know, I can see it with my own eyes now, and I was never a Farke out. I just wasn't. But I can see it. He's not Premiership quality manager, and that's a simple fact of it. I don't think even if he gave him the players that he wanted, would he be able to get us up to the place in the position in the table that where we want to be? But I don't think he would be. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think he's too rigid. He's too inactive. He just doesn't. He sticks to his guns all the time. He picks the players that, you know, we all can see with our own eyes going, they're just not good enough in what the system we're playing. So I don't know. I think this for me now, I can say he's not a Premiership manager because I've seen it with my own eyes now.
I have to agree with that, Stephen. You know, similar to what we've all kind of said there, and we done a video, if you remember, I think it was late into the tail end of the Championship second season, the promotion one. And, you know, we did say in a video, will Daniel Farke be able to do it? And, you know, we all alluded that, you know, he wasn't backed by Norwich, he wasn't given the full tools, you know, they didn't spend sort of narrative. And, you know, with Prague coming out and saying, you know, we're backing Farke till the last whistle, more or less. And, you know, it seems to be what Stephen said there, he's not really helping himself. You know, if your back's against the wall and you're losing like this, or better yet, you're looking at that stat that you just had up there. Me personally, I don't know about you lads, but that would give me a kick up. Call it as it is, kick up the arse, more or less go, I need to change or I'm gone. So, you know, we can also, we've done this numerous times, sitting here and gone on about changing formation, playing to player strengths, but he hasn't done it and he's not going to do it. So I don't understand what the 49ers now see in him anymore. And I agree with you, Stephen, I wasn't Farke out either. I wanted him to do well and look at, you know, 100 points and get us promoted, and that's what stings, because he done so well last season. And it is a collective thing there, and what you always say, it is the board, it is Farke, it is the players. Yeah, you know, down to the recruitment side of it, and it's simple, lads. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer on it, but he's just not good enough, and he needs to go. If he's not willing to change in-game tactics, forget about it. Play non-league.
There's no doubt about it in my mind, lads, that he is a very, very good Championship manager, and the proof is in the pudding there after winning 3 Championship titles. The proof is there, and as I said at the start of the show, it was probably a little bit naive of me, and probably some other fans, you guys might be included in this as well, thinking that Daniel Farke could do a job in the Premier League, that he wasn't really fully backed at Norwich. The 49ers, we hear from Prag Morate, his first interview with the LUTV. He spoke about when we do get up to the Premier League about giving Daniel Farke all the tools to go do the job. And I don't know about you, Stephen, I haven't really talked to you about this. I feel personally that it is just a collective look at Daniel Farke does have to burden a lot of the blame of what happens on the pitch and the side of their recruitment, but a lot of it has got to do with the players that we've brought in the summer. Again, it's like that 22-23 season when we brought in the likes of, Mark Rocket, thinking, these players were going to set the world alight, and that hasn't really happened yet, Stephen, with these players. Like, who is to blame? Is it just a collective at Leeds United that things just aren't going in the right direction?
Well, that's the thing. Like, Farke said he signed off on all these players, and I don't know if I fully believe that, because I think a few players have been pushed on them. But like, when you take just the back along, like we said, we're going to strengthen from the back, and that everything, we're going to build this big team of monsters. You know what I mean? And fair enough, we did. Perry, let's be honest, he's not shown anything to me. Be all is in and out of the team, and Barnell that's much as that altogether. That's 35+ million quid.
Yeah.
Wasted.
Question marks over Perry as well, Stephen, as well.
That's what I mean. That's 35 million euros. Question. That's wasted as far as I'm concerned. Like, I watched Perry on Sunday again, and he's so static. He's not good with his feet. The free kick, we don't even talk about that. I don't know what that was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He all's taken back out of the team. Stroke. Perry, he was bought to improve us and replace either Stroke or Rodon, in my eyes, of a Stroke. He's taken back out. Barnell hasn't been seen or heard of. You know what I mean? So it's very hard. It's like, and then you go into the midfield, and we have a good midfield, but when you have nothing that's in front of that, what's the point? Okafor was an unknown. We've seen him in the Aviva there. He looked absolutely class. I did think there is a player in there.
Me too.
And then he's coming out and he's blaming the left-hand side. He's blaming Goodmunson and he's blaming Okafor for everything that's gone wrong. And I personally don't agree with that. Mistakes have happened, but I think Goodmunson has been probably. And then on the other side of that, you have Bogle is probably gone back a step or two, because what he has ahead of him, Brendan Anderson, there's nothing to bounce off there. Last season he had Willie Nanto, or he had Dan James, and they just had this chemistry. They just played off each other. So it's very hard to say. There's a lot of things going wrong in this team. A lot. When you break it down, you look at it and you analyze it, and individually as players, and where they're playing in their positions, and where they should be, where I think they should be playing, and what formation they should be playing. Farke, at the end of the day, he picks that formation. He picks the players.
Can I just jump in there real quick?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I just want to go back. We talk about the transfer window itself, right? And the amount of players, we were saying it's a collective thing. The amount of players, names that we were linked with, and we were on the verge of signing. And one I'm going to use in particular, and me, Darren, you're going to laugh at this, because I really wanted him, was the goalkeeper, Milinkovic.
Yeah, you want Milinkovic-Savic at the time,
and like that wasn't. When we first got linked with him, and it seemed to be that, as Stephen said, they were working from the back line all the way up. And it seemed like every player that we were linked with, or that was the first kind of choice. We didn't get there. At all. And then all the players that we did get felt underwhelming. And then, that me and you jumped on and done a video. Yeah, well, I'm happy because we've got whatever 6-7 in the door. More or less we're saving for a big top marquee striker. And no offence, lads, we get Calvert-Lewin. So we can't just keep putting the blame on Daniel Farke either. Like, I'm not saying he did, Stephen. I'm just saying I'm trying to think of it another way to basically not necessarily put the blame on the 49ers or the board, but in a collective way. I'm trying to just let everyone know in the chat that I know everyone wants Farke on. I do too, but it's not just Daniel Farke as well. Yeah. But with that going said, he's not really helping himself. As I said, not changing the system, not changing the formation. But then the quality there, and it's great down what you said, because I completely agree with you. I don't know why he doesn't play with 5 at the back and utilise Gabby. We can see why he can do it.
It feels like that's the type of players that we have, lads, and that we recruited for. And that's where I feel like it doesn't all align with the recruitment in the summer to the way Daniel Farke wants to play football. It doesn't really align. And you need that to align. Like when you look at Anton Stack, for one, that stands out. Lads, he was sensational. His stats were one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe, and we brought him in, and he's playing left-hand side of midfield, and Ampadu then as the sitting midfielder. Like, you're bringing bringing these players in that are costing, 15, 16, 17 million, play them in the position that they're meant to be playing in. We've seen similar with Pirro, his time at Leeds United as well, being stuck in that number 10 position. There's times when I look at it and I'm like, why did you buy these players to play them out of their position? I don't really understand why Farke does do that at times. But you're right, Dylan, he certainly doesn't help himself with things on the pitch as well. But again, it is a collective. The 49ers, for me, they aren't dissolved of all blame as well, because we were being gassed a little bit by them during the summer when, the whole thing with Muniz is that they're confident of getting them towards the end of the window. Do you remember after Peugeot fell through, this is what was sported out by the local journalist, Graham Smith, Baron Cross all came out at Leeds United are confident towards the end of the window that they will get a marquee signing and a big money signing, and that never materialised. And we were all saying it halfway through that this is not going to happen. We know as Leeds United fans it was never going to happen, and we put all our eggs in that Peugeot basket. And after that fell through, it was like we'd no plan. We'd no plan B. A little bit like our manager, we didn't know where to go after that, and then players were just popping up. I don't think Calvert-Lewin was strategic. I don't think Leeds United looked at Calvert-Lewin and said, "Yeah, let's go get him." I think he just popped up as a free. And Leeds United said, let's jump on him. We need him, very similar to Harry Wilson. I don't think Leeds United started the transfer window saying, let's go after Harry Wilson. Again, it felt like a panic came right at the very end of it. So that's where the recruitment need to look at each other. But then again, Dylan, you don't know if these players, if Leeds had got a shortlist and players have looked at this and said, I don't want to go to a newly promoted club in the Premier League because look what's happened the last 3 seasons. Look at a manager. I don't think he'll get the best out of him. There's a lot to go into this. But I'm with you, Dylan. As much as I think it's Daniel Farke's time to go, like the majority of the fan base seem to think now, I do also think it's a collective. I do. Stephen, what's your thoughts on that?
No, it's definitely a collective. All this blame can't be put on Farke. At the end of the day, yes, the players that are put in front of him. And let's be honest. And I was only talking to me mate in Morgan. He's a Liverpool fan, and he's feeling all depressed and down. I mean, you know what? You don't even know half of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what And I listen to his complaints like he listened to mine. And I said something today, and he went, you're right. I said, last season, when we were in the Championship, we had a few Premiership quality players in the Championship, and that was the difference. This season, we have Championship players in the Premiership. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Yeah. And that's the hand that Farke has been dealt, but he's not utilising it to his best ability, and that's what's frustrating. You can have poor players, or they're not poor. Let's be honest, they're not poor players. They're just not quality Premiership players. You need to utilise them to the best of their ability and have them playing off each other, not having square pegs and round holes and throwing on. Yeah, no, seriously, throwing on 5 strikers at the end of the game and going. Yep. Like I was a underage football coach, and I used to say to the lads from 7s up to under 12s that you don't start this week, you start next week, because they're kids and that's what you do because it's fair. And that's what it seems like with Farke. It's like, well, you're going to play every week. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to come on the 70th minute. Like, that's scripted stuff. That's what I used to do. I used to have a sketchbook in front of me going, well, Corey came off in the 70th minute this week. He's not going to come off. Yeah, but that's what it is. Like, it's not child's play. Like, they're children you're dealing with. You're not trying to, hurt their feelings. These are grown-ass fucking men that get paid millions of euros. If you're not performing, get off. Like what Bielsa used to do. I don't want to go back to Bielsa because it's not about Bielsa. But I
do because I love him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we all love him. But he done it. If you're not performing, you're not coming. Like, how many weeks did it take him to start Rafinha? Was it 6 weeks or something before he started?
Yeah, before he got to it, yeah.
Madness. Because he needed to fit into the system. Where Farke is doing the same thing week in, week out. And I swear to God, lads, I sat in Elland Road, Jacob was beside me, and I seen the players warming up. I texted you this, and it was like 6 minutes and 50 seconds, and he was like, oh, they're coming. I said, they're not going to come on, yeah? And bang on 70 minutes to the second, the players came on. That's not coaching. That's just that's a script. That's just reading off a script and going, okay, James, you're not going to come on in the 70th minute. Go on and do what you can do. You're going to come on and say, it's.
Imagine at half time.
It's just insanity. Go ahead, Dylan. It's just insanity to me. That. Go ahead, Dylan.
Do like at half time, just imagine yourself, right? You're a Leeds player and you go in at half time. Imagine the opposition's dressing room.
Yeah.
Right, lads, we have, a chance to get back into this. He's not going to make subs till the 70th minute. It's very predictable. So we're in the Premier League here. So why are we being so predictable on things? And then yet again, when it comes to a press conference and he's talking about certain formations or tactics or what way he's lined up for such and such, he doesn't want to give anything away. But everyone in this chat, the 62 people, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. But don't get me wrong, I guarantee every single one of them person will be able to predict what the line will be against City and who will come on in the 70th minute.
Just rub salt in the
okay.
rounds. Paddy Bamford has just scored for the Blades as well tonight as well.
He's level
As
there now
same
with
amount of goals as
Calvert-Lewin.
Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, same amount of goals as Calvert-Lewin. I know, look, it's different divisions and all that as well. But yeah, look, lads, I think you're absolutely right. And I think, you know, Daniel Farke doesn't solely take 100% of the blame. It is a collective, the 49ers. For me, coming up to this division, that they were here towards the tail end of the last ownership. They've seen all the mistakes that they make, and they're starting to make the same mistakes as well, Steve, aren't they? Like, I think when you come up to the Premier League, you genuinely do need to put your hand in your pocket and every single penny. I know we were at the end of it. Robbie Evans came out and said, you know, we reached the PSR limit. I don't fully believe it because we were shopping in that Peugeot market. We were still going for Hardy Wilson towards the end of it. So I don't believe they were. I think they were just trying to do it as cheap and probably being a little bit too smart instead of going out and doing what Sunderland done and give yourselves a fighting opportunity in the Premier League as well. So, lads, ultimately, they have a massive decision to make over the coming weeks, and we have a tough run of fixtures coming up now. We know what's coming up, Stephen, but they have a big decision to make. And as I said, this season is feeling very similar to the last relegation season in 22-23. But this time, the 49ers have an opportunity, and they need to get it right for Leeds United because essentially, this is make or break for the football club going forward.
No, it definitely is, and like it's the wasted money that's really annoying me. It's the likes of James Justin that isn't being utilised. 10 million spent on him. You know, that's just, you can get a decent European number 10 for 10 million. Right? I don't know off the top of my head who he is, but as they kept saying, you know, we've been planning for this since, when did he say? They should have been planning for it from Christmas.
End of April, wasn't it? End of April when we got promoted.
Like, yeah, that wasn't long enough. Like, for me, like we were. I'm not saying we were guaranteed promotion. Let's be honest. I would never say that as a Leeds fan, guaranteed anything. Yeah. But we were going in that direction come Christmas of the season we got promoted. So why not plan for it then? Why not put out everything seemed to be last minute. So where was this plan? I don't understand it. It's they wasted more money than they spent good money. And that's what really annoys me. You don't have to go out and spend 30, 40 million. Yeah, it helps. Trust me.
Look at Tanaka still. Look at Tanaka. Yeah, there is gems there across Europe that you can absolutely unlock and bring to the Premier League and do a job. Look, I think Tanaka the weekend was, for me, the best player on the pitch. Stephen, you were in the ground. I thought he was absolutely sensational. So you can't do it, Stephen. But again, it comes down to the right recruitment and the right scouting department to go and pick them players from across Europe. Like, it can be done. We've seen the likes of Brighton go and do it. We see Brentford doing it as well. You can go do it. And you can do it cheaper, but you can also get the right player as well. Where it feels like the same mistakes have been made from the last time with the last ownership, and the 49ers were here there for that, and they've made the same mistakes as well now, Dillo. But it's massive for me, lads. I genuinely believe it that the next coming weeks from now till Christmas is going to be absolutely pivotal from the way our season is going to go. If it's going to go for good or for bad, and the 49ers have a massive decision to make either way, Dylan.
Well, this is I'm going to use Farke's reference. If you can't handle the heat, you know, more or less you get out of the kitchen. So it's the same with the 49ers as well. If they're not willing to whether spend in January or bring a new manager in or Prague himself, you know, we talked about it. Well, you talked about Darren in the last press conference. I think someone actually in the comments alluded to it. It seems to be they're more concentrated on Rangers at the minute, as far as I can see. And I think that's, you know, this model of,
the multi-club model.
Multi-clubs, is not the right way of going about it, you know. The way I look at it is right now for me with the 49ers, and I'm just going to call it as it is, they're giving us all these glimpses, you know, you're talking about the stadium expansion and all this sort of stuff, and which is great, and it is great, but you need to make sure that you're doing the job on the pitch, and they're not. So whether that's we talked about it again, recruitment, etc. They need to more or less get this sorted over the next couple of weeks, because we know once January comes, it's a race for every single team in that Premier League from the top to the bottom. It's a race.
Yeah.
You could say from the start of the season to now, you could say you're cruise ball and it's kind of open play football, nothing really to play for, no worries, you know, just go out and kind of battle lads. You know, obviously you want to beat teams and there's tactics and stuff like that, but after January, after Christmas, it's a sprint.
Sorry,
I think
Sam,
it's
I
now
think
every point, lads. I think now is absolutely
It is for
vital.
us
So
because we're in the bottom three. Like.
yeah, look, every point is vital, and some people are obviously saying, don't bring a new manager in before City or Chelsea or Liverpool. Like, I think if you're going to do it, just do it, because who knows, they could get a point. That every point is going to be absolutely massive. A point could, see you safe. A single goal could see you safe this season. Let's try and get into a couple of the comments here, lads, because they're flying and there's loads of debate going on in the chat, and I absolutely love to see it. Farke News budget. Farke News budget on spending, but still fucked up, overspending on players, and don't use underspending as well. And I agree with that as well. And probably the one where you pick out, the first one that comes to mind there for me is James Justin, 10 million. We haven't seen much of him as a player for Leeds United yet, but he certainly is. He certainly looks like a bit of a waste of money. 10 million down the drain, where that could have went on their positions further forward to try and recruit. Big question: who replaces Farke? Who is prepared and able to turn a team around into turn a team of average players, the one that can retain Premier League football for the club? A bit of a poison chalice, perhaps. That's what it feels like, rigor mortis, to be honest with you. It is. Anyone that comes in, I think, will have to demand the respect of the dressing room as soon as he walks in the door. I don't know about you guys. Now, look, we'll get into it. I did a little bit of a video on it earlier on today. The bookies' favourites at the moment to replace Daniel Farke is Brendan Rodgers. Now, I'm not saying I want him or I don't want him. I'm saying this is what the bookies' favourite. So, Steel, I'll come to you to discuss. This came out of nowhere. He was 12-1 yesterday morning, and then all of a sudden, he was absolutely cut in half towards yesterday evening to become the favourite.
Personally, I don't like him as a person. I never have. I just don't. I think he's an arrogant fucking so and so. I just don't like him. He just winds me up. He always has. He has that face that I just want to punch when things are going well. No, seriously, but things are going well. You know what? He's from the same school. Well, obviously he's a bit older, but the likes of Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, who else? That fecker, Scott Parker, that type of arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah. Narcissist kind of type, isn't it? Yeah.
But if he gets results, I don't care. You can be who you want. You know what I mean? So, it's time. If you could get the Brendan Rodgers that was the Liverpool manager, fair enough. He done well at at Leicester. He stabilised them. Celtic, in his first spell there, he done well. In the second spell, I was still looking at his stats in Celtic, and his win rate was 69%.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I know it's a Scottish league, so I don't know if he's going to be any better, if he's going to be any worse. That's who does. Nobody does. The 49ers don't even know, and they're the ones that have to make that decision. But listen, can he do any worse? Probably not. So, something needs to change, or maybe that's the change we need. I have, as I said, a very close Celtic fans, and they're saying the style of football isn't great. Well, the style of football we're playing at the moment isn't great either. So there's no real.
And Stephen, to be honest with you, I'm one of them where I wouldn't mind playing non-attractive football if that means picking up trophies. And I know Brendan Rodgers has picked up majority of his trophies up in Scotland, but he also has done very well with a Swansea. So he took them from absolutely nothing in the Championship, promoted to the Premier League, finished 11th, sustained them there. And it was only when they left, they completely went downhill. Liverpool came very close to getting their first title. We know that as well, and an FA Cup at Leicester as well. So he has done some really good things in his career as well. But I do agree with Stephen. There is that something about him where that narcissist kind of style comes across in his post matches. He's very easy to throw players under the bus. That's something I don't like. I don't mind, giving players a little bit of a kick up the backside and saying he needs to be doing better there. But he throws players under the bus. Airs his dirty laundry out in front of the public and stuff that happens in the boardroom as well. So that's stuff that I think wouldn't wash with Leeds United. Dylan will bring you in. That's something that I think our fan base personally wouldn't accept, that sort of style that, I'm the one man here kind of running the show. Leeds United is always very much side before self.
Well, I disagree there, to be fair. I think if Brendan Rodgers was to take that job, which I'm all up for, I need to be completely honest with you, and I agree with what Steve said there. He is arrogant. He is more or less all about himself to a certain degree, and he does throw players under the bus, and he does, more or less badmouth the board if needs be, but is that not what Leeds need at this time of moment? Well, the lawyers and stuff that Farke is kind of giving us, and the, excuses. That I'd rather someone be completely honest with you. I know where he's coming from in the sense of it makes Leeds look bad, but it also makes us look bad when Farke's just lying blatantly to us in interviews and coming up with weird, mad, wild statements. So. And the most positive thing, lads, he has Premier League experience, and it's a high linked name for me, anyway, about anyone else that has been linked with Leeds since you could say Bielsa. Let's be honest with you.
I know. I think though a lot of the issues with Brendan Rodgers is that when it starts to go a little bit pear-shaped and things don't start going his way, when he start losing football matches, he starts throwing players under the bus, and that's what I'm kind of looking at as Leeds United is clearly going to be a bumpy road for the rest of the season. There's going to be ebbs and troughs all the way through the season, and you need that type of manager that's going to come in, not protect the players, but, you know, being like, right, this is us, we're one unit, where he's very much like what Lampard, like what Russell Martin does, you know, it's their fault. They didn't listen to me. We set out to play. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. That's the type, that's what Stephen's kind of saying. He comes across and kind of dissolves himself of all blame. And he's very much one of them that I'm kind of the man. So I'm very much split on it. I do think he would be a better coach than Daniel Farke, and that's probably what we're all crying out for at the moment. Is he the right fit for Leeds United? Personally, I'm not too sure. But who do you get? Who do you go for? Who's available? Who can Leeds United afford? They're going to have to pay off Daniel Farke. If they do it, getting a manager in, you know, what wages he going to want. So a lot plays into this, Stephen. It's not just as, you know, cutthroat as, you know, sacking the manager and go get him. It depends on what way the 49ers are going to go. No,
it's not. And it's very hard. I can't sit here and tell you one name that I'd be going, yeah, we'll get him in and you change it around for us. And, you know, I'm not saying not go and get Brendan Rodgers. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't know whether that's going to work. And
yeah, true.
What I am saying is that something needs to change, because if it continues the way it's continuing, we're going down. And listen, we're probably going to go down anyway, and that's the reality of it. But I'd rather go down with a fight than go down with a whimper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. And it's very split there in the comments, lads. Like you have some people saying, no, absolutely not to Rodgers. Some people saying, I think Rodgers will be exactly what we need. Sadly, I don't think Rodgers is the man for the job. Slot and Eddie Howe may be available soon. Yeah, you never know. Brendan Rodgers, spot on. Darren, he's calling out with the board usually happens after a season and a half, and that's it as well, when he doesn't really get the players that he wants, or the board sell players, you know, because they haven't got enough money, whatever it may be. He's very public in air and that, and I don't think that would work at Leeds United, lads, and I think the fans would probably turn on him very quick. So I'm very much split. And look, ultimately, lads, it's not really our decision, is it? You know, we can sit here and talk about Rodgers, we can talk about Southgate, nuts in who else is being linked, both fencing. We can talk about any manager you want in the world. Ultimately, it's not down to us, lads, is it? Or Stephen. It's not going to be down to us, pal, is it? It's up to the 49ers to get this right, and it's imperative that they do if Daniel Farke is sacked.
No, well, look at Thomas Frank at Spurs. Like, he's the talk second him. Do you know what I mean? Everybody thought he was the next big thing, and he is a good manager. Don't get me wrong. You know, and the Spurs fans are already calling for it. So like, it's just like he's bringing out the excuses that we finished 17 last season. Excuses. It's not even an excuse. They're 9th in the league. You know, so this is the Premiership, and you know, it's only the teams that are excelling in the Premiership that the rest of you know, the teams, the likes of Liverpool, they're calling for their manager's head. You know, so, you know, how many managers have Forest gone through in the last season alone? It's probably, you know what I mean? It's just, so we're no different to anyone else. We're an emotional team, as Farke keeps saying, you know, and Thomas Frank is as I said, was one of the best prospects. Bournemouth, what he done at Bournemouth was amazing. And now all of a sudden he's worried about his job. So,
yeah,
you know,
that's Spurs though as well. Spurs have gone through some unbelievable managers over the years. When you think about the names like Mourinho, Conte, who else has been there? Postecoglou, Frank has been there now as well. Like, actually, the amount of decent managers Spurs have gone through and just made them look horrendous. That if any job is a poison chalice, so I think absolutely it has to be the Spurs one. But yeah, look, it's an interesting one, lads, to keep an eye on of what's going to happen with Leeds United. I can't lie, I'm checking my phone every 4 or 5 minutes to see if anything has changed, if there's any news. Ultimately, I do think he's going to be here for the City game. On paper, it looks like Leeds United are going to get a walloping in that one, barring some sort of miracle and the football and gods look down on us, and then we'll have to see what way the land lies after that one as well. But going forward, Stephen, it's obviously, look at, this is what we look forward to. This is why we wanted to get back into the Premier League, to pip ourselves up against these big boys, and what an emphatic way it is. City away, Chelsea at home, Liverpool all coming up next. There is a part of me that's very excited for this, lads. Like, you have to if you're a football fan.
Yeah, no, listen, everyone keeps saying, let's forget about the City game. And then, you know, it probably is reality. But at the end of the day, I'm still sitting here going, you never know. You never know. It's football, right?
Happened the last time, 10-man Leeds, you know, you just never know.
And if we do get a spanking, we get a spanking and we move on. But the thing is, I was expecting us to have them games and, you know, have the spankings and then going, do you know what? We look at the likes of Chelsea.
Sorry, still not laughing at you. When I comment here from Peter Murray, don't trust Rodgers since he had his teeth done.
Anyone that has his teeth done or a hair transplant, you can't trust them.
PSV are beating Liverpool 2-1. That just came in there. Cheers, lads.
But
Lovely.
Going back to the home games, and I don't care what anyone says, we have competed in every home game this season, and I don't see any reason why we can't. Again, you know, it's the fine margins. We're competing, but we don't have the quality. If we had the 1 or 2 extra quality players, and that's all I think we need is 1 or 2 extra quality. At home, we're getting results. You know,
Elland Road really is that 12th man, though, lads, isn't it? Like it's very, very cliche to say we hear the 12th man, but it really is. Like the difference we're seeing from Leeds United at home from away from home, when we're setting up the exact same way. Like, and you're right there, Stephen. I actually really look forward. Like, don't get me wrong, City away is one that I'm fearing. I really am. I'm fearing that game. But I look at Chelsea at home midweek under the lights Wednesday night at Elland Road. Chelsea and Leeds, you know, proper old school game. Like Leeds fans will be up for it. They'll be up for that, traveling up from London as well. Who knows what can happen in that game? And then Liverpool, look at, they're not in any great feats at the minute, as Stephen mentioned there. You know, they're going through it as well. We could easily do it back to back. And how good would it be? Like, regardless of Daniel Farke and the players and the board, like, just to beat them along, just to say we've beaten Chelsea, we've beaten Liverpool. That's why you support Leeds United, not because the manager to keep his job, save his job, the players. That's why you support football, isn't it, Dylan? So you can banter them Chelsea fans or them Liverpool fans and go, look, we done yes.
Lads, I've said it religiously, even when Bielsa was here. It seems to be a thing with Leeds. No disrespect to any of the lower teams, or, you know, not your top 6 club, but Leeds always put it up to the top 6 clubs. Always, really. I like, and it's mad. You know, we've bet Chelsea, we've bet City, we've bet Liverpool. Look at us go. And to be honest with you, Liverpool is looking very tasty at the minute, and especially because I'm going to it. Thank you, Steve. Give me that thing. It's a legend.
I have a good comment here from Tony Martin, lads, and I think it does put the nail on the head. At the end of the day, we all want our club to do well, but it starts with the manager. I think Farke has lost the dressing room. And too many of us going through the emotions. We need a change, and I think that's it. And it's just a straight way of putting it as well, without being, you know, get him out kind of. It's just like, look, you've taken us as far as you can. We've trialed it, hasn't worked out. It's time to move on. Let's get through a couple of these as well. They're free hits, ain't they? So we can't lose. Sleeves up. That's my thinking of it as well, is that we're not expected to pick up points against these. So why not? Why not go do it? And then when we come up with them teams around us, like we have done over the last couple of weeks, that's where you want to pick up your points, lads, isn't it? These ones, hate calling them, but they are free hits. Go out, give your best, and revel in these types of games still. Yeah,
but can we afford to have a 9-point deficit going into these 3? That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? That's it. You know, we can't. I've learned over the years, and I was only speaking about this as well. I got obsessed with, when we were in the Premiership and even in the Championship, listening to what other teams are doing and going, oh, they'll lose this week. And I remember I used to, when it was always on Burnley and Everton, the first season we got relegated under, after Jesse Marsch left, and we had Garcia, and then we had fucking 10 other managers after that. You know what I mean? And I remember sitting
and Allardyce and everyone,
Allardyce and Burnley will lose this week, or, you know, Everton will lose this week. No one ever does you any favours in this league. No one. Yeah. You know, you have to go out and you have to compete. So that's my fear, right? We're all saying, we can wash all these away and these are free here, but that's 9 points. Who's to say the teams above us don't get 9 points? We're 11 points, or we're 10 points behind you. They're not pulling back 10 points in this league.
And we were lucky the weekend still. Like, we're level on points obviously at the moment with West Ham. Exactly. West Ham were 2-0 up, or claw back to 2-2. So we're obviously level on points with them. So the land could lie a lot differently, you know. So it's, I think you're right as well. I do think every single point is absolutely vital in the league this season, especially with the position that we're in now. It's a very precarious position after facing up them teams that are in and around us. So we have to pick up some sort of points in these games. Even if it's 3, you'll absolutely take it for me.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's United, we have to do it the hard way. We don't do it the easy way.
We didn't go through all the pain and the heartbreak and the ups and downs and nail-biting moments last season. You know, Manor Solomon scoring that goal away at Oxford, whatever it may be. You know, to come up against these and just write it off and go, yeah, we're not going to win. Like, this is the reason why you go through all them ups and downs, lads, is to get back and play the likes of these teams coming to Elland Road and us saying we have a chance against this.
No, definitely. Yeah. And we have to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I said I'm a firm believer the Leeds put it up. But just have to say, lads, to a certain degree with the free hit thing, on paper I understand and the way that we are at the minute, but I can honestly see the lads revving up for this game. I really do. Whether Farke's, gonna get to put an arm around them all and say, lads, all joking aside, this could be my last game in charge. Go out and play with that kind of freedom and that intensity, and I guarantee you'll see a shake-up. I'm not saying we're going to win, but I guarantee it'll be a better game than what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Wait and see.
BMG has one here. We can't afford a repeat of the Marsch sacking. Scapala, Gracia, Big Sam. They all need to line someone up. They do, absolutely. Don't like Rodgers particularly, but he's worth a punt if Farke goes. Yeah, who knows? Who knows, buddy? Who knows? Rigor Mortis says, great live. Anyway, guys, we'll give you a shout out on my next video and link your channel into your description. Thanks very much, pal. Really do appreciate that. Thanks very much. Lads, a little bit of something new that we're going to bring to the broadcast now every Wednesday. We're going to bring in the fan comment of the week. So basically how we find this is our most viewed video. We'll go into the comments there, and whatever has the most likes or whatever has the best comment in there, we read it out. So the fan comment of the week comes from Tony Martin on today's video about Brendan Rodgers. So he says, as said above, I love this club. I will support always, but we are allowed to be subjective. I want the best for my team, and at the moment, we're not getting that. Thank you, Daniel, for all you've done for this club, but now it's time for a change. And that's perfectly put, Stephen, isn't it? And it is subjective. I think that was a really good way of putting it, that everything in the world is subjective, and Daniel Farke feels like he's took us as far as he possibly can.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'll always thank Daniel Farke. I'm not going to put him up there on a pedestal with some of the other managers, but, we've had two amazing seasons in the championship. So unlucky to lose in the playoff final, and absolutely, I've been to I don't know how many games over. Put it this way, in 2.5 years going to Elland Road, that was the first game I've seen as Lewis was on Sunday.
It's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy.
So, and that's 20.
You need to go every week, pal.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's all. A lot of that is down to Daniel Farke, and I'll never forget that. But it's come to an end now, and that's the unfortunate thing. Everything moves on, like everything in life, and I'll always be grateful to him. I'll always remember what he did, but we need a change, and he's come to the end of his tether as far as I'm concerned. So that's a brilliant comment, and I love it. And I agree with it 100%. And when Farke does leave, I will be a bit sad. And I would, if he walked up to me, I'd shake his hand and say thank you very much. And real feelings. And I think a lot of fans would feel the same.
Would you have a go with his German sausage, Theo? Would you?
Listen, and have a little bit of cake with him as well. On the couch.
Coffee and a cake on the couch.
Oh, Stephen, I like cake.
But no, that summed it up brilliant for me. So,
I think it's class. It really got me. I agreed at the time. I was the first one to say it, but as you can see, 13 likes on it as well. And I think it just puts it perfectly. We all want the best for this football club either way, and we all have different opinions, and we all see the world differently. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think if we all had the same comments and the same opinion, how boring would it be if we're all sitting here saying the exact same thing? So I think it's class as well, and everything is subjective. Some want Farke in, some want Farke out, some hate the guy, some love the guy, some want Rodgers, some don't, and that's just the way the world is. Dylan, have you anything else to say, pal, before we wrap it up and say goodnight to these wonderful people?
Fair play to Tony. That is a great comment, to be fair. So shout out to him. And yeah, you won nothing.
You won absolutely nothing, but just a little bit of pride. Right, lads, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much to everyone that popped in for the broadcast this Wednesday evening. Myself and Dylan will be back tomorrow for your match preview ahead of Man City, as we try and find some sort of comfort and see how Leeds United might be able to get anything, something out of that game down at the Etihad. So don't forget to drop a like on your way out, guys, and of course hit subscribe to the channel if you're new here. So mind yourselves, mind each other, and catch you in the next one.